The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, it's better late than never, right? Better late than never, ladies and gentlemen, but this is, in fact, the aftermath of Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. First and foremost, this fight and just seeing how the impact it's made on not just the boxing fans, not just the boxing community, but the average layman, casual sports fan. I feel like this fight needed a little bit more time to digest because I go out in the world, I'm going to the hockey games. I'm hearing people talk about Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. I'm going out to the sauna to work out, minding my business. I'm hearing little kids talk about Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. A lot of people, there's this girl that I'm talking to right now. She's talking about Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. So it was that big of a fight. It transcended this little bubble, the friendly confines of the YouTube boxing community. And I feel like if there was ever a time to go late live for Aftermath Live, this is it. So I'm going to be here for an hour, maybe even two, because there's a lot to touch on. I'm going to be live again later on tonight because, like I said, guys, just to be real with you, because I consider you guys that watch my lives to be family of some sorts. Really and truthfully, when 90 Days of Boxing ended, I took time off because I thought it would be good for me. And I found out very quickly it was very bad for me. I got pretty low because I was like, man, I'm not doing shit. So it was good to a degree, but it's time to get back to work and stay there. I feel like during those 90 days of going live, I got so addicted to being here live and talking to you guys and creating this content that if I'm not doing it, something's off. Like I'm just off. So I don't need to take time off or vacation. I think I've done a good job finally in my life of creating a life that I don't need a vacation from because I enjoy it so much. So yeah, man, a lot to touch on. But before we get into Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, let's take some time to acknowledge the fine folks that have already commented and are chiming in and giving their thoughts. If you're watching the playback, smash the like button. If you're here, smash the like button and definitely super chat. But let's get to the comments. We got my main man, Jesus M. Good to see you, Jesus M. Good to see you, champ. He says, saludos, BT. Happy Thursday. Good to see you. Bang, bang, boogie. In the he says, saludos. Shout out to you. He says, when it's playoff season, it's going to be later. Yeah, that's true. But, I think it had less to do with the playoffs and just more with I thought I needed time off. I really didn't need it. It actually did more damage than it did good. So I find more peace in just going live every day. But yeah, man. Shout out to Paul Maldonado. He says, hey, broski, what's up? What's good, Paul? Good to see you. 90 days was a savage run, unprecedented. And you know what's crazy, Michael? We can go higher. We can do better. We could even make those 90 days of lives more days, and we can make the lives even better than they were. So I'm trying to go somewhere maybe I never even went. I've been I'm gonna get to Devin and Ryan in a second, but I'm gonna leave you guys with this before I get to Devin and Ryan. I've been reading this book. I've been listening to this audio book by Tim Grover. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to it. It's called what's it called? Relentless. It's like 6 hours long. It's 6 hours long. I'm like halfway through it. It's really just changing my mindset on a lot of things. So yeah, I think I'm not listening to music for a whole week. I'm just gonna listen to that. I'm listening to audiobooks and inspirational stuff because that's what I need right now. I need to be inspired and I need my mindset to go to another level to get to where I need to get to, not just for you guys, the viewers, but just for the sport of boxing in general. So yeah, man. He says Leo versus Lopez is in talks. Yeah. That's I've heard the same thing, So hopefully they get it done. Great fight for boxing if they can't get it done. That's probably the match I'm most excited about because obviously you guys know Angelo Leo's a great friend of the channel and a fantastic fighter who I feel is better than people realize, and that'd be his golden opportunity to become a 2-division champion and a champion in one of boxing's glamour divisions, the featherweight division. We know 2024 is the year of the featherweight division. So yeah. Jesus wants to know, does 90 days of boxing continues? Listen, man. I think it was Muhammad Ali who once said, in life, you don't count the days, you make the days count. So I used to count the days. Now I'll make them count. So I'll say yes, but it's gonna be a lot more than 90 days. I'll tell you that much because I can't deal with time off. I can't function properly. I become a very not good person when I have time off to think, and like I said in my video earlier, being here making this content moves the needle all the way across the board in my life. So that's why we're here. But anyway, let's get to it, man. And Michael Manning says that Eddie Hearn stole the title of Tim. He did. It's a good point. He did. But anyway, let's get into it, guys, because there's a lot to discuss when it comes to Ryan and Devin. It was really just one of those moments in times where, I'm sure like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're going to remember, you're going to ask yourself the question, and you're going to remember, where was I the night that Ryan Garcia shook up the whole boxing world and beat up on Devin Haney, because a lot of people weren't giving him a chance. I know I picked against him. I know a lot of smart, intelligent boxing people picked against him. And the Las Vegas casinos lost a lot of money. A lot of people made money. I know a lot of people that made great money on this fight. So it's just one of those crazy nights in boxing. It's one of those nights that you live for. You don't ever know when those nights are going to come, but this wound up being one of those nights. So let's get into it, man. First talking point on our Aftermath Live. Your boy BT in the afternoon, the first of 2 lives. So listen, if you're at work right now, shout out to you at work. If you're going to be at work later on or getting off work later on, shout out to you. We all are trying to get it off the sweat of our brow. But listen, I'm going to kind of parrot a little bit what I said in my video earlier that I dropped earlier today. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. But Ryan Garcia beats Devin Haney, right? I'm seeing people all over the world out in normal society, which in America, you don't hear people just casually talking about boxing in normal society anymore. It doesn't happen like that. You hear about baseball, you hear about basketball, you hear about hockey, you hear about college sports, but boxing hasn't been a mainstream sport for decades now in America. And so when you go out places and you hear people talking about this fight, and people that personally that don't normally watch boxing pay attention to this fight, it maybe makes you think. It makes you wonder, like, how big really and truly was this fight, and is Ryan Garcia really on that track to becoming a crossover star? Not a pay-per-view star, because a pay-per-view star can just be a guy that has a lot of hardcore boxing fans that buy pay-per-view. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone that when you go to every street corner of America, you can go to any country in the world, people know who this person is. That's a crossover star. We haven't had that probably since Floyd, because Canelo, and I know people don't like when I say it, but it's the truth. Canelo was a very big star. He's not no crossover star to the degree you guys think. He's big on the West Coast. He's big on, he's probably big in the UK because he fought British fighters. But you come to the East Coast, you come to South Florida, he's not moving the needle like that. That's why when he fought here at the Hard Rock Stadium, he didn't come close to selling the Hard Rock Stadium out, and they gave a lot of those tickets away when he fought Avni Yildirim. So he's a big star. I'm not saying he's not, but he's not to the degree that some of you guys think. That's why DAZN lost money on him, and there was lawsuits because he wasn't even generating the kind of pay-per-view buys that he was supposed to at that time. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into it. Let's go to screen share. Make sure you guys smash that like button. As far as Ryan Garcia, he's really just on top of the world right now. He's a lot of things going on. I mean, you see it right here. Like people are creating all these funny memes. Like I thought this meme was pretty funny on Twitter. As you can see, it says Ryan Garcia, born in 1990, age 3, net worth $0, no belts, low confidence, loser. 2024. Now, I don't know if he's 28, but it says age 28, net worth 20 million, WBC champion, schizophrenic, Mexican. Ain't that crazy? He beats Devin Haney, and now he unlocks a whole ethnicity. He's Mexican now. People were saying he wasn't La Raza. Now he is La Raza. But everywhere people are talking about this damn fight, and I'm really happy about. I mean, look, I don't hate Devin Haney or anything like that. I've always been kind of like indifferent towards Devin. I acknowledge that he's a fantastic fighter. I acknowledge that, he was, he accomplished some great things, and I got a lot of respect for his dad, Bill, because there's some qualities about Bill Haney that remind me of my dad, because he's a strong father who's done right by his kid. My dad, Pops, strong father that did right by his kid. So it's like, a lot of things I do like about Devin Haney, but it was always going to be better for boxing if Ryan won, because Ryan just has magnetism about him that fighters don't have. He loves the limelight. He loves the attention. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But now with that win, the reason why that win is so important, and as I stated earlier, it's one of the most important wins in modern day box history, because Ryan Garcia, now he's not just the TikToker. Now he's not just the dude that was modeling Forever 21 clothing and being this guy that likes to wear the weirdo fashion that they have in LA. No, now because Ryan Garcia beat a creme de la creme, top shelf, pound for pound fighter who was undisputed, but the hardcore boxing fans got to treat him with more respect and more class. So he finally gets to tick those boxes fully, because now he has that win, that stamp. And then obviously, it goes without saying, his social media, he's a pretty boy, just keeping it a spade. We've been seeing how Ryan's been acting after the fight. He's been down here in Miami with talking to Instagram models and having fun and enjoying the fruits of his labor and whatnot. But, we know Ryan can't keep his dick in his pants because the girls love him. So, because women love him and now the boxing fans are now taking him more serious, this creates a storm where now Ryan Garcia could potentially be that next crossover star, where, even back, look back a couple years ago when Ryan Garcia got a Gatorade endorsement. I don't believe he was the first boxer to get a Gatorade endorsement, because I was told that Oscar Valdez apparently had a Gatorade endorsement, but he was the first boxer to really get that. Like, Gatorade was really pushing Ryan Garcia. And this is maybe shortly after Luke Campbell. Like, he hadn't even fought Tank yet, and he was getting Gatorade endorsement deals. So back then, if you were really paying attention back then, you knew that Ryan Garcia had a chance to be a crossover star. And now you look at, and that'll be the next point. Ryan has a chance. He's in a beautiful position now where, now he's saying he's going to be at welterweight because he can't make 140, which who knows what he's going to do. But if that's true, that opens up a whole new avenue for him. So I think Ryan's got as far as American fighters go, there's really no cap on how big he could get in the sport. And it's great that he finally won a big fight, because again, I think this will benefit the sport long term. And the thing about Ryan, at least right now, all I can judge him off of is how he's been so far. He fought Gervonta Davis, even to his own detriment, when he drained himself. He fought Devin Haney. So he's out here fighting people. He's out here making shit happen in the ring. And I think that trend will continue, because I feel like he wants to be in big fights. So if there is a Teofimo Lopez fight, which they were supposed to make during Super Bowl weekend, I feel like that will eventually that will play itself out. That business will handle its own, and he will fight Teofimo Lopez. He will fight, whoever is the biggest and most attractive fight to him. And I'm really excited about it. So those are my initial thoughts on that. Back to the comments, though. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's go back to the chat. We got my man. He says Crawford versus Israel and Bivol better be a card. A great card. Are they the best cards in a long time? They're very good cards. He wants to know, will I be going to Crawford versus Israel Madrimov? I have no clue. Right now, it's April 25th. I'm not even looking past the rest of this month. I'm not even thinking about Canelo versus Munguia or Inoue Neri yet. I'm just worried about getting the channel back on track, because I'm behind right now. But I would like to. I mean, I know I will be out west around that time, because I'll be out west, because I'll be part of training camp for Team Leo, and be there for the Venado fight. If it does wind up happening, who knows? If it's not Venado, then it could be somebody else on Pro Box. But I know I'll be out west around that time, going to fight, shaking hands, kissing babies. So we'll see. I would love to go, but $89.99 is a no can do for pay-per-view versus Munguia. Yeah, we're not doing that. That's too much. Is Romo Gonzalez come back? Yes, Romo Gonzalez is going to be fighting July the 12th. They just announced his opponent. I forgot the guy's name, but it's like a stay busy fight. First fight in Nicaragua in almost a decade, so it's a homecoming for him. It's important because it exposed a fraud. And tell him how you really feel, Hand History. Tell him how you really feel, champ. Haney doesn't resonate with people just like Tank. It's all about charisma, personality, and Relatability, exactly. And that's in anything. That's in life. That's in business. That's in boxing. That's entertainment. Yeah, man. Look, I like Bill, but I think Ryan's probably more relatable to more people because of how vulnerable he is with the mental health stuff and just all kinds of stuff he talks about. Ernie V, what's good, champ? He says, salute to BT. Salute to you, champ. Good to see you. Hope all is well. And then now he says, if Tank just faces an actual top opponent who comes to win, boxing will finally be better after the damage Floyd has done. A lot of people like to blame Floyd, but Floyd fought people. Like, Floyd fought people, man. I look at, and I hate to talk down on him because he's fighting a good opponent in Madrimov, and I don't like talking down on Terrence Crawford, right? He's one of my favorite fighters, but he's made it seem like it's the most craziest thing in the world to go fight Jaron Ennis, and it really shouldn't be. Maybe they'll still fight. Maybe now with him doing this with Turkey and Eddie Hearn promoting Boots, now maybe there is a pathway to that fight down the road. But I'm just saying, based on what's happened so far, he made it sound like the craziest thing in the world to go fight Boots, right? And I know Boots had some incompetency with his team and his career. I'm not letting Boots fully off the hook either. But, Terrence Crawford, I regard him highly. And to whom much is given, much shall be required, right? As the good book says. So, Floyd, Victor Ortiz is not as good as Boots. But I'm saying when Floyd had the quote-unquote young, hungry lions in his weight class, he fought them. He fought the Victor Ortiz. He fought these guys, So that's how I see it. But it's not really Floyd's fault. It's fighters. It's the fighters that misinterpreted his career who are the problem, not Floyd. Floyd went out there and did what he did all the time, which is go out there, kick ass, look like $1 million, and just always have, for the most part, A-level performances. It's the fighters that picked one or two attributes of who he was and misinterpreted everything, So I think there needs to be more responsibility put on the fighters that didn't even know what the hell they were properly watching. They didn't know how to interpret what they were watching, and they took all the finesse of Floyd and the brash talking and those kind of things and the being business minded, but they didn't take the pretty boy side of Floyd. They didn't take the guy that was being fucked over by Bob Arum for years. They didn't take the guy that was throwing 4, 5, 6 punch combinations, transitioning from offense to defense and defense to offense seamlessly. They didn't take that part because they didn't study the whole full picture. But that's where I'm coming from. South Florida, yes, Gunna 2 Raw. South Florida, stand up. We here in the afternoon, giving you guys the rare afternoon live. But you know what? I want to make this a little bit less rare because, like I said, after 90 days of boxing, I had a week to evaluate. We got higher standards here on True School Sports. There's a higher standard of excellence we have to reach here, and we have to conduct ourselves as. So yeah. History Vault says Roman's opponent is trash. I'm disappointed in Roman. He should know better. Come on, man. Listen, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez fought everyone. He's going to fight. I'm telling you right now, he's going to fight for a bantamweight title this calendar year. This is just a tune-up fight to knock the cobwebs off, be at 118, deliver a good little homecoming fight for Nicaraguans. He's going to fight. I'm telling you, I've been told by people on his team. It's already been out there in the media. Anyone who's been paying attention knows Roman Gonzalez is fighting for a bantamweight title this year. He's going to try to become, I think, the 6th or 7th 5-division champion in box history. So give the guy a break. Give the guy a break. The Panthers are the Stanley Cup favorites. Listen, man. Shout out to the Panthers. I'm wearing my Panthers shirt right now. I went to games 1 and game 2. I had me a great time too, and we are winning the Stanley Cup. I've been telling y'all that for a while now. Who has Boots fought? Whoever they put in front of him. Whoever they put in front of him, that's who he's fought. The same guys Crawford fought before he fought Spence. Since we're doing that now, because that's what Crawford fans, that's what Errol Spence fans used to say to Terrence Crawford when he couldn't get the big fights. Who has Terrence fought? And then when you name a guy he fought, they say, oh, and they just downplay and nitpick every opponent. It's happening again, but it's in reverse now. He fought whoever they put in front of him. That's definitely not happening, champ. That is 100% definitely not happening. But look, since we're talking about Boots, guys, since the subject is about Boots, and this live is in fact about Ryan versus Devin and the aftermath of that fight and just how that's played out, we got to talk about it. I know it sounds crazy, and it's crazy how quickly and swiftly one great performance, one fight can change the landscape and what people think a fighter should do in their career. But look, Ryan just beat Devin Haney. Ryan's a big guy at 40. He's a gargoyle even at 140. He's big and strong, big strong kid at 140. All right. He talking about he want to go to 147. All right. And if he's gonna go to 147, he's a big money fight for anybody. We know Terrence Crawford does, he's become an accountant. He don't want to fight Jerron Ennis, and that's okay. He's fighting Madrimov. That's a good fight. I won't shit on him too much longer because he's got a good, credible opponent in front of him. Because he could have fought Josh Kelly. I really thought he was going to fight Josh Kelly, so thank God he didn't do that. But in the immediate time, why not make this fight? Because there was that famous clip of Henry Garcia going off of Eddie Hearn, calling him a piece of shit and this, that, and the third. And Eddie Hearn said, hey, he said, what did Henry say? He's like, Luke Campbell, Devin Haney, who do you got now? And then Eddie Hearn said, Jerron Ennis. I got Jerron Ennis. And then Henry got real friendly. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. And, he made a nice little peace treaty with Eddie Hearn real quickly. So, look, if Boots can't get a big fight and Ryan does have real intention of going to 147, make the damn fight. And I'm tired. Listen, I'm keeping the same energy for Boots that I have for all these other fighters who have a lot of talent, have a lot of ability, who are highly regarded, but haven't really been in no big fights, haven't proven anything. Like everyone's just saying that, nah, Boots beats Ryan, right? And he probably should beat Ryan. He's bigger than Ryan. He's strong. He's young. He's not like he's fighting a Devin Haney. He's fighting somebody that can punch, that's big and very athletic, that can offset a lot of the things that Ryan wants to do. Ryan will not be the bigger man in that ring. But at the same time, you got to fight the fights for a reason. And if Boots is looking for a big fight and Ryan is serious about going to welterweight, I don't see why this can't be an option. I don't see why it can't happen. And anybody who's a supporter of Jerron Ennis should be hoping this fight happens. They shouldn't, if you're a Boots fan, you shouldn't be saying, nah, Boots don't gotta fight him because Boots already beat. No, you don't want to be saying that. You should be saying, no, make Ryan versus Boots, because when Boots beats him, now some of those fans, some of the eyeballs that Ryan gets are gonna now be on Boots. Now Boots is gonna have fans. That's gonna enhance his star power in the sport. So, you look at the welterweight division, there's really not any big names for Boots to fight. He's not going to fight like any of the guys that you guys want to see him fight. He's fighting Cody Crowley next, because they just announced that he'll get a nice little homecoming fight in Philadelphia against Cody Crowley, a fight in which he should win and win soundly and look good and start to build up that interest for him. But I feel like Ryan Garcia versus Boots is a fight that should be explored, because now Eddie Hearn's going to be talking about Boots so much. He's going to be bigging up Boots any chance he gets. Ryan Garcia is one of the biggest stars in the sport. That fight could be that fight, if done properly, I really do feel if that fight is promoted properly, could be one of the biggest fights in the sport. And I don't want to hear it from no Boots fanboys that no, he don't we don't want to see that fight because Jerron Ennis just beats him. How about Jerron Ennis actually get the fights, win the fights, and then we can move on. And if could you imagine? You imagine if Ryan beats you imagine if Ryan Garcia somehow went up to 47 and beat Jerron Ennis? I don't think it would happen, but I'm saying, could you imagine how crazy that would be? When you get these top guys, whether it be Haney and Ryan, or Ryan and Tank, or Boots versus Crawford, or now in the case of Saudi, better be at Bivol. When the best fighters get in the ring and they fight at an appropriate time, no, there are no losers. There's nobody loses. The fans don't lose. The fighters don't lose. Nobody really loses. So, I think it's a fight that should be explored, because Ryan can't make, according to him, he can't make 40, which is okay. You can make 40. You can't make 40. Don't kill yourself. Go to 47. Fight Jerron Ennis. He's the biggest name in the division right now, which is, I know it's not saying a lot because welterweight isn't what it used to be, but he's going to get only bigger and bigger because Eddie Hearn is going to box him active. Eddie Hearn never had an American fighter this good. So I feel like Eddie Hearn signing Jerron Ennis was like getting the #1 draft pick. It was like getting Tim Duncan or LeBron James or Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon. Like it was big deal. So we'll see how it goes. But let me see what you guys are saying. I see I got like 11 comments. He says, so if Bud's resume is weak, then what is Boot's resume? Honestly. He says, BT, I thought 2:30. Well, I went live a little earlier because I have to go work out. I got to work out today. I got to go to the gym. I got to work out. I got to swim. I got to run on the treadmill. I got to go to the boxing gym, and then I'm going to come back and do my live later on. So that's why I went ahead and went live earlier. Everyone's asked me this question. I don't know, guys. You guys, I can't think that far ahead. I'm not even sure where the hell I'm going to be at in a couple weeks. So I don't know. I would like to go. It's a very good card. I like Terrence Crawford. He's one of my favorite fighters. It's good to see him in action against a good, credible opponent. I love LA. LA's been very good to me over the years. I don't know. That month is not really like I don't want to say too much, but I'll be out west around that time. I've already said enough earlier. Don't want to say no more than I've already said. MEZBX, shout out to me, says De La Hoya doesn't want to work with Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I've heard that, but I think, the mediator on all this is Turkey, right? And now we're seeing Turkey Al-Sheikh, and that's the live later on will be about. But we're seeing Turkey Al-Sheikh come to America and now put on cards, and we're seeing PBC and Matchroom fighters and guys with all different promotions work together. So I think if Turkey Al-Sheikh gets involved, which I think he will, because if Terrence Crawford beats Madrimov, I know he'll probably have to fight Fundora, but the Boots fight will be bigger, and I just think there is going to be a direct pathway to making that fight happen. So we've seen a lot of times Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn didn't want to work together for years, and now that Arab money, that Saudi money, got them acting like BFFs. It's got them acting like it's got them getting along and making the fights happen. And now it's gotten to the point where they made a whole card. Matchroom versus Queensberry, kind of like they do in the amateurs, where they have like USA versus England, the duels they have in the amateurs. Now they brought that concept to boxing, and it's Matchroom versus Queensberry. So if with Turkey involved, I wouldn't rule out any fight. BT, do you have mixed feelings about? I'm going to talk more about it later on. I want to just kind of keep this about Ryan and Devin and put the finishing touches on that card. And covering that card. But as far as that, look, man, I'm just happy the fights are happening. It's not my money. I'm not seeing a dime of it. Why would I have mixed feelings about it? I'm happy to see Terrence Crawford back in the ring. I've been complaining for like a solid year, almost a year now, that Terrence Crawford hasn't capitalized off of his newfound star power since the Errol Spence fight. So I'm just glad they're staying active. I don't have any mixed feelings about it. My only thing is, when how long could they sustain all this? Because at the end of the day, we've seen so many entities in boxing come and go over the years, and it's all well and good now, but how long will this last? That's my question. But I don't have any mixed feelings. We'll discuss it more later on the night live. He says, look at Oscar's weird comments. X and Ryan and his dad are mentioning Isak Cruz. They don't want Boots. Ryan said he did want. In fact, hold on. You're saying Ryan did it. You're saying they don't want Boots. Ryan said otherwise. Where is it? I got it here somewhere. Hold on. X that out. Where is it? Where did I have it? But shout out to everybody here, by the way. Look, this is Ryan. Ryan said it. Ryan said it in an interview. I got the quotes right here. He literally said, and I heard him say it because I watched him say it when I was watching videos on Sean Tatel's channel. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Sean. He's at like 6,000 subscribers. Get him to 7. He said, all right, let's run it with Boots. So those are words directly from Ryan's mouth. It was Henry, and I like Henry, but Henry said, what about Pitbull? So, which, by the way, if they could make a Pitbull fight and Ryan could healthily make that weight, Ryan Garcia versus Isak Cruz is one of the biggest fights in boxing right now. That doesn't need any more promotion or development like a Ryan Boots fight would. If they could get that fight over the line right now, that would be a huge fight, because I've been in the arena multiple times when Pitbull Cruz has fought. I was there when he fought Eduardo Ramirez on the Andy Ruiz Luis Ortiz undercard, and I was there when he fought Rolly on the Tim Tszyu Fundora undercard. But it felt like a main event. Both times I went to those fights, it felt like a main event. So you take the Mexican fan base that Pitbull Cruz has, and then what Ryan's bringing to the table, you got yourself an extravaganza, attraction, mega fight. So that's why they're mentioning it's a bigger fight. I don't think Ryan would duck Boots, honestly. As far as Boots himself said that Ryan Garcia is food. This is from Boots' Instagram. He said, and I quote, "He's food." So look, it's all well and good to talk. Obviously, Boots should be confident because Boots is one of the most skillful fighters in the sport. If we're talking about just pure talent and skill set, but again, his resume lacks that signature like stamp, that signature win. Ryan Garcia could be a signature win for him, and it would. I think that's the kind of fight that would catapult Boots into a whole another level of stardom, which he deserves. His skill set warrants that. You know, I remember going to watch Devin Haney's fight in 2020. Was it 2021? I'm gonna say it was like 2021. Might have been. I can't remember the year. I'm getting the year. All the years are just bleeding into each other now. But when he fought Thomas Delorme, he fought on the undercard of Jamal James versus Butiev, and I remember sitting in the seats at the Mandalay Bay and seeing how empty the arena was. Boots deserves so much more than what I saw that night as far as crowd turnout and notoriety, right? So it's all well and good to talk. Got to prove it, and they got to make the fights happen. But I don't think that Ryan will duck Boots. That's just my opinion. But we'll see. But shout out to everybody here. I appreciate everybody chiming in. Let me acknowledge some comments here. We got my man Omar Gonzalez. He says, "Get ondas, bro. Saludos from Phoenix, Arizona." Listen, man. I had a chance to go to Phoenix. What was it? Last month? Yeah, last month. Had a blast. Love it there. Can't wait to go back. I felt like the way out of towners feel when they come to Miami, I felt like that when I went to Phoenix. I was in paradise. Just beautiful Mexican women everywhere. But good to see you, champ. Shout out to all the fine folks in Arizona. Brandon D. Hooker says, "What's the deal, BT? Are we going to link him in Houston for the Tank fight in June? I'll invite you to my church where I met my wife." Well, I have some bad news for you, champ. That fight's not going to be in Houston anymore. They changed it to Vegas. So, I won't be in Houston for that. I was actually supposed to go to Houston for the card next week, the Red Owl boxing card between Daniel Bailey and Edward Vasquez, but I had something else come up, probably going out of the country in about 2 weeks, so I can't leave South Florida right now. But when I come to Houston, I'll go to church. I'll definitely go. I'll pull up to church with you, champ. Shout out to my man New Guy. He says Hearn and Warren got honeymooners glow. Arab money squashes English. That's what I'm saying. Arab money squashes English beef. Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren looking 20 years younger. They BFFs. They playing Jenga together. I mean, it's wild. It's wild what money could do. But shout out to everyone here. Let me see. And then I'm going to get into my next point. Any chance they feed Ryan to Jose Ramirez, Barbosa, Gio Santillan? Gio has beef with... Does he really? I didn't know that. Giovanni Santillan has beef with Ryan. Why do they have beef? I know they train in the same area because Giovanni Santillan is from San Diego. So maybe they probably sparred at some point. Why do they got beef? That's actually news to me. Ryan Garcia said he was not coming for a boxing match, and I think that's exactly how he came, to win a fight and thug and ball hustle. You are 1,000% correct. He didn't come out there to play tip-tap boxing with Devin Haney. He came out here to do a demolition job. And luckily for Devin, Harvey Doc, his good old buddy Harvey Doc, he looked out for Devin's well-being, and he got in the way of Ryan getting a more emphatic stoppage than, he should have had a more emphatic stoppage than he got. He didn't get a stoppage. He should have got a stoppage, but Harvey Doc, he interfered in a big way. So he's lucky. He's very, very lucky. But as far as them feeding Ryan to Barbosa or Jose Ramirez, I mean, look, Jose's fine this week. I always thought when Golden Boy first signed Jose Ramirez and Arnold Barbosa, I always thought it would be with the sole purpose of having those extra bodies there for when Ryan Garcia can't get a bigger fight. So let's just say if Ryan can't get a big fight against, they're not going to fight Tank, but I'm saying if he can't get a big fight against Tio or Tank or any one of the premier names or anybody at welterweight like a Boots, or Pitbull Cruz, then I think that's going to be Golden Boy's last resort option, Jose Ramirez. We know Arnold Barbosa Jr. boxed as co-main event on this card, got a straight gift decision against Sean McComb. Arnold Barbosa Jr. against Ryan Garcia. Is it an attractive fight on paper? Not really. I don't give a damn about it. But in the California area, that could be a big fight because Barbosa's from El Monte. Ryan's from, Victorville. He's very Hollywood as well. So they could do that fight in a smaller venue in LA, and I'm sure it'll sell great tickets. So Barbosa, Ramirez, Giovanni Santillan is there with an outside. I would like to see Ryan fight Giovanni Santillan. I'm anxious to see Giovanni Santillan in the ring with anybody right now because just because of how exciting he was against Alexis Rocha. So yeah, those are all good options. Those are all massive possibilities. And yeah, Pitbull versus Ryan, I think, is one of the biggest. Again, it's one of the biggest fights that can be made in boxing. If they made that fight tomorrow, it would sell out in 15 minutes. 20 minutes tops, that fight would sell out. Especially if they do it in California because Santillan, if they do it like San Diego, Santillan, he's got a fan base in San Diego. Ryan's got a fan base now seemingly everywhere. So it's a big fight. Santillan sparred Ryan Garcia, sparring for intent, and as Gio was fouled, Gio fouled him back. Sparring got heated, and Gio says it ended with Ryan getting him in a headlock. It's on E. Okay. I never seen that interview, so I have to go check. Shout out to Ellie Setback on the grind. Do you think if the Saudis will be the ones to put Inoue and Dodger Stadium fight in the future BT? It seems to be the perfect promotion for them. Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be great. We know Top Rank ain't gonna do it because Top Rank, and I love Top Rank. So I'm not. I love all the promotion. I actually, believe it or not, I like all the promotional companies. I'm not talking bad about nobody, but Top Rank is not a company that takes those kind of risks. They don't. The only reason he's getting the fight in the Tokyo Dome is because that's all Ohashi promotion. That's all Japan. That's not Top Rank. Top Rank is carrying the fight for us here in the US, but that's Ohashi promotion. So with Turkey in the mix, when Bob Arum likes working with Turkey, he spoke glowingly about him. That could be a possibility, and I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna throw it out there because I do think before it's just my belief. It's my belief that my boy Angelo Leo will have a world title before the end of this, before Christmas. Before Christmas this year, Angelo Leo will have a world title. Take it to the bank. That would be the perfect fight at Dodger Stadium, and I'm just throwing it out there. So hopefully somebody in the boxing world hears that and puts it in the mental Rolodex and saves it for later. But anyway, yeah, I can see that as a possibility. Let me see. Salute to True School. It's official. Yeah, I've been seeing that. Good. I'm glad that we got Roma Gonzalez fight card coming up. I'm gonna try to go to Nicaragua for that. Actually, might be going to Nicaragua here in 2 weeks. About 2 weeks. But like I said, I don't know where this boxing journey takes you, but it's good to see Roma Gonzalez back in action. That's a little stay busy fight for him. He wins that fight. He's gonna go try to fight for a bantamweight title by the end of this year and go ahead and try to become one of the very few men in history, one of the very few fighters in history to become a 5-division champion. It's barely been done before. But nonetheless, let me get to my next speaking point about Ryan and Devin and just everything that's ensued since this fight happened. So a lot of people have complained that Ryan Garcia missing weight was very unprofessional. And look, I ain't mad at that. Devin and Ryan, they had an agreed upon contract to fight at 140 pounds. Ryan did not come in overweight. So let me explain something to the Devin Haney fanboys that can't be honest with themselves. When a fighter misses weight, at that point, it is up to the discretion of both fighters and their teams to either A, come to an agreement to fight. So an agreement in the sense of, in the form of, maybe a penalty for missing weight, which ultimately that's what wound up happening. Ryan and Devin came to an agreement that Ryan Garcia would pay $500,000 per pound that he missed. He missed by 3 pounds, so he paid Devin Haney $1.5 million. Or that fighter has to come back and try to suck down and get those last couple pounds up and get back on the scale. Ryan did not try to do that. Or the fighter who made weight can just say, you know what? I'm not doing the fight. But once you go ahead and once you agree, once a fighter agrees to make once both, not just one fighter, but both parties, once both parties involved, both teams, both fighters, everybody involved, once they agree to make the fight happen, despite a weight discrepancy, there is no room for excuses because as grown-ass mature men, you came to that agreement, right? So when I get on the Instagram and I pull this up, and I'm gonna read it to you guys verbatim, word for word. When I get on Instagram and I read Devin Haney's post, and this is like what, about a day ago. Here's what he said. He stated the following, and I quote. I think let me just make sure I'm on screen share. I am on screen share. Okay. He stated the following, and I quote. First off, I want to say, Alhamdulillah, Allah is the perfect planner, and I trust his plan no matter what. I came up short, but this is boxing, and if anyone knows me that knows that I am a true competitor, and I always wanted to test my skills against the best fighters in the world, which is true. Devin has done that, so I gave him credit for that. He then went on by saying, and I quote, Ryan, despite the circumstances, was victorious that night, and that's fine. I do feel like weight played a role in it, but only Allah knows. I would love to run it back and give the fans a fair fight within agreed weight. Now, he capitalizes the word fair. Then basically he says, look, he thank you to everybody, all that good stuff. But I wanted to highlight this. The fact that he's because I don't like this, man. I don't like you were a heavy favorite. I'm gonna quote Devin. Devin Haney literally said out of his own mouth, he said, Ryan Garcia is a C-class fighter, and I'm gonna get this pussy out of boxing. Those were his exact words at the weigh-in. All right. And now that he got his ass whooped and got dropped like 6 times, and then he called it 3. He got like 5-6 times. They only called 3 of them. Now Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney is trying to demean the win from Ryan Garcia. He's doing it in a very passive-aggressive way. He sprinkled it in there. It was a very classy message overall, but it's passive-aggressive. It's a passive-aggressive way of just saying, you know what, no, I lost because of the circumstances. No, you agreed to the circumstances. He agreed to them. Now, look, he's a true fighter. I give him that. I'm not saying Devin's not a true fighter, but I don't like this shit, man. Like, you lost, got your ass whooped. He was the better man on the night. He came up short. Like, where's the congratulations to Ryan Garcia? You're saying thank you to everyone but Ryan. Well, you make a lot of money. Where's the congratulations to Ryan Garcia on a great night? You know, it was a fair fight because you agreed to it. You can't sit here and act like you were put in that position. You got what you wanted. You were the champion. You were well within your rights to say, you know what, I don't want to fight. That's not professional. We agreed to this. We're gonna be a man of my word. So it was a fair fight. And I guarantee you, if Devin Haney would have won this fight, you would have barely heard anything about the weight. But because he lost and got beat from pillar to post, and it really wasn't a close fight. I don't care if they say it was majority. He lost pretty clearly. Anybody knows that. Should have been a UD. It was a fair fight. The reality is this. Devin Haney he's a very good fighter. I'm not taking anything from him. He's undisputed. No amount of me demeaning him or saying anything about him will ever take away from the fact that he's been an undisputed champion. That's what it will be for the rest of his life. Okay? But maybe he has to come to the reality that maybe he just wasn't as good as he thought he was. And maybe this is God's wake-up call to him to go back to the drawing board and, like, you know, be the best he can be, you know? Because look, I'm not one of these people that's gonna say Devin Haney ain't shit or Devin Haney can't come back and level up. No, Devin Haney's 25 years old. Devin Haney's got 31 fights deep into his career. He's got a lot of good experience. He could, if used properly, this experience could be used the right way and serve him well down the line. But I don't like this because you agreed to the fight. And I don't like this passive aggressive. Just say, you know what? Just say, like, I'm not even sure what I want him to say. But I don't want him to say this. I don't want, because you had an out and you didn't take it. And it is what it is. At the end of the day, you got to take it on the chin like a champion. And you got to say, you know what? Ryan Garcia, I couldn't defend the left hook. The straight right hand was straighter than I thought it would be. You know, he hit me. Everything about him surprised me. He psychologically got me. You know, that's what he needs to be saying. Not this stuff about a fair fight. It wasn't a fair fight because I'll tell you this: you wasn't calling it. You weren't asking for a fair fight when you fought Regis Prograis and rehydrated damn near 25, 30 pounds on fight night, and you beat his ass. There was no talks about a fair fight. No. When you beat Regis Prograis, all we heard about is how Devin needs to get on the pound list, and Devin needs to, you know, be given his credit and this, that, and third. And mind you, I gave him his credit because he beat a legitimate champion. But I'm saying you fought in your hometown, in the Bay Area, with a rehydration clause, and there was no talks about a fair fight then. So if you didn't talk about a fair fight then, don't talk about a fair fight now. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that when it comes down. Let me get to some comments, man. I see I got a super chat. Let me go look at my super chat. Shout out to everybody here. Lump Sum says, he says, and shout out to him for the $4.99 super chat, and you guys feel free to follow his example. He says, good show, good channel. I'll be there August 3rd for sure. God willing, I'll be there as well. I can't give no definitive answers because I'm not even sure where I'm going to be at May, June, or July, So I'll know when I get close to that time. But, if you make it out there, have a great time at the fights. And I'll love to go see Terrence Carter fight live. I haven't seen Terrence Carter fight live in years. The last time I seen Terrence Carter fight live was when he fought Hank Lundy. So it's been a while for me to see Terrence Carter fight live. So I would definitely love to see him try to go make history and beat a good champion, a really good fighter in Madrimov. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and feel free to come back later on tonight when we go live and talk about that. I'm gonna break that whole card down for you guys, so come back live for that. But yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, Devin Haney should not be trying to take from Ryan's win, and I feel like he's doing that. Now, as far as Ryan missing weight, this is just history repeating itself. Plenty of fighters throughout the course of box history, when they've been in a fight, they've decided to pay penalties and fees for missing weight. I'll give you a couple of examples. When Canelo Alvarez fought Matthew Hatton, I can't remember if he missed weight. I'm pretty sure. Let me fact check myself. I'm pretty sure Canelo missed weight for Matthew Hatton. But Canelo versus Matthew Hatton comes to mind. Floyd versus Marquez, Jacobs versus Golovkin, Arturo Gatti versus Joey Gamache. These are all fighters that missed weight, paid penalties and things like that, and sometimes it was just because they thought it would give them more of an advantage. But like, this is just history repeating itself. So I don't understand why people are acting like it's so crazy. Is it crazy because some of you guys just hate Ryan Garcia? Like, I don't get it. My thing is this: even if he missed the weight, the ball was always on Devin's court as the other fighter to say yes or say no. He said yes. So once he said yes, excuses go straight out the door for everyone, for Ryan, for him, for everyone. That's just where I'm coming from with it. Devin and Bill are crying. Ryan did the same thing Haney does against all his opponents. And yeah, sometimes it's not fun when the shoe is on the other foot. It's not. A lot of guys can take the heat. They can dish certain things out, but they can't take it. That's why, this game is tough. You gotta have thick skin. If you want to come in, rehydrate 25, 30 pounds against Regis Prograis, then okay. When you fight someone that's just as big as you, you better be ready to be willing to deal with all that. And they weren't. They thought they could deal with it, and then when they found out and got a reality check and find out that they couldn't deal with it, then guess what? Now they want to say it wasn't a fair fight. It wasn't a fair fight because Devin ain't punching like that. Devin ain't punching like that, and he met somebody that can punch and push him back. That's why it wasn't a fair fight. It wasn't a fair fight because of weight. It was a fair fight because Ryan just had too much firepower. And one thing I'll say about Devin Haney, even when he was winning, I used to always say this, even before he lost. One of the reasons why I probably didn't gas him up as highly as other people in the boxing world is that he's very good at what he does. Outside boxer, sharp, straight punches. But Devin Haney does not have gears. He fights at the same pace every single fight. So that's another reason why it wasn't a fair fight, because Devin Haney was winning fights the same way so many times that when it came time to make an adjustment to go somewhere he ain't gone before, he didn't have the tools to do it. That's why it wasn't a fair fight. It wasn't because of weight. That's just the stone cold truth. He says Devin does the same thing. When has he missed a contracted weight? He never missed a contracted weight. But when he fought Regis Prograis, he rehydrated 25 pounds on fight night and had a huge advantage. So maybe it's not exactly the same thing, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you took the fight. He took the money. He took the money. He wanted that 1.5. He was cool with that 1.5, the easy 1.5. Credit to him. I'm not gonna knock any man for taking an easy 1.5 just because somebody else's mistake. But once he took that 1.5, excuses go out the door. You got to go out there. The burden of performance is on you to go out there and get the job done. He didn't do that. That's on him. It ain't the end of the world. He can come back. He can be better. I believe he's definitely good enough, and I'm sure if they can add some guys to the team to sharpen his skills and get him to another level physically and mentally, then he can come back better. He's still just 25, but Ryan delivered a serious beating on him, and it's gonna take some special stuff mentally for Devin Haney to come back from this loss. And look, and then that's the perfect way to pivot into the next point about Devin Haney, which is, like he makes a weight excuse, which he wasn't saying Ryan was too big for him when he took that 1.5, but he's making it now. What's next for Devin? Let's evaluate what could really and truly be next for Devin Haney, because that's what everyone wants to know. Now, look, as you can see, Devin Haney is still in possession of the WBC belt. Got to remember, because Ryan missed the weight, he got to keep his belt, and he didn't lose the belt. So it's been anticipated for a long time that Devin Haney is going to fight the number one contender right here, Sandor Martin. And look, personally, I don't think that's a fight they should take. Not because they can't win it. I think they'll beat Sandor Martin in a good fight, but I think Devin Haney has got to fight somebody with some firepower, somebody who has volume, someone who has explosive power, and he needs to adjust some things in his style, learn how to stay cool under pressure against that particular style. Now, look, I know there's been rumblings of Gary Anton Russell signing up Matchroom Boxing. I think a Gary Anton Russell fight would be much more attractive for Devin Haney than Sandor Martin, because Gary Anton Russell is he's got, he's a more dangerous fight. He has attributes in his style that I think would better prepare him for a potential Ryan Garcia rematch down the line, or anybody. Because even if it's not Ryan, look, let's just say it's not Ryan. If it's not Ryan, then he's gonna have to fight Subriel Matias, who just stays on top of you and don't go nowhere. Devin's gonna have to learn how to deal with these kind of styles. And when I say deal with them, I mean deal with it in the sense of when they close the gap on you or they counter you, learning how to defend the left hook. Definitely knowing how to fight on the inside and not being so quick to hold all the time. Like, I'm just getting sick and tired of the guys like Devin Haney and Richard Hitchens that whenever guys close the gap on them, their first instinct is to hold. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't ever not hold? No, there's going to come times in the fights where you're going to need to hold. You may get hurt, you might get buckled, and it may be the best thing for you to hold a fighter. But whatever happened to back in the day, like think about the great American fighters of the past, James Toney, Marlon Starlin. These guys used to fight in the pocket. One of the things that used to make American fighters, and particularly Black American fighters, like upper echelon, was the innate ability to fight in the pocket, or as the great Nazeem Richardson once said, to swim without getting wet. But then now in the post-Floyd era, every freaking Black American, many, I'm not gonna say every, but many of the Black American fighters, every time they get hit, their first instinct is to hold. And it's like, nah, man. Like, we need like Devin. The reason why Devin will struggle against guys like Ryan and even like a Matias and even maybe a guy like Lopez, okay, is because when the gap gets closed, the first instinct is hold. And the first instinct can't always be hold, because inevitably there will come that day, and for Devin, that day was 5 days ago on April 20th, where somebody can get around that and exploit that. And it was exploited very badly from Ryan on Devin. So I'm getting sick of it, man. Like, we need fighters to be okay with. That's one of the reasons why Terrence Crawford is such a great fighter to me. It's not because Terrence Crawford just gets knockouts. It's not because Terrence Crawford can switch. It's not none of those things. It's because Terrence Crawford is actually one of the only American fighters that when he gets in the pocket and shit really gets hot in there, he actually can fight in the pocket. Devin is not like that. Richard Hitchens is not like that. Shakur Stevenson has been like that against certain opponents, but when he's fought Nakatilia and what's his name, Delos Santos, he ain't been like that. So it's just like these guys. A lot of these fighters that people are so quick to prop up, they get hailed, they get praised as these complete fighters. But then when the situation calls for them to truly show that they are a complete fighter, whether it be a Hitchens versus a Lemos, a Haney versus a Ryan Garcia, they're not showing that they're truly a complete fighter, and that's my gripe. So he'll probably fight Sandor Martin next because Sandor Martin is a good veteran, world title challenger. It's a safer fight. I won't say it's a safe fight, but it's a safer fight. Sandor Martin's gonna come to win, and then they'll probably go straight back into a big fight. That's what I think will happen, but who knows? I just think that Devin needs to. And I've always thought this about a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of fighters. There's a lot of fighters in boxing that people think are complete fighters that are not complete fighters. And it's crazy. The guys that are complete fighters, like I've heard people ever since Bivol Beterbiev got made, I've heard a lot of people expose themselves and just say, oh, Artur Beterbiev just comes forward and he's not a complete fighter. When in all reality, Artur Beterbiev is a way more complete fighter than Devin Haney will ever dream of being. Straight up. Same thing goes for a lot of guys that people like to put on this pedestal. Artur Beterbiev is one of the most complete fighters in the sport of boxing. Apart from like, Terrence Crawford, Inoue, and maybe like Gervonta Davis, for talking just skills, like he's up there. I'm rambling. I'm all over the place, but I'm not. This isn't the end for Devin Haney, and I think he can come back. But they have to really work on fighting in the pocket. And that message just ain't for Devin. That message is for a lot of fighters that hail themselves as these complete fighters, but then when fights really get difficult, they don't engage. Christopher's bringing up Raymond Ford. He said Raymond Ford. You know what? It's crazy. It's crazy how things can change. But yes, I think Raymond Ford in the Odebek Komatov fight, he showed a lot in that fight. He showed what Raymond Ford in that fight showed. What we're asking to see from Devin Haney, what we're asking to see from Shakur Stevenson. That's why, you haven't really heard much from me because he put me and a lot of people wrong that night, and he won under very difficult circumstances, and he showed something that people didn't think he had, and that's why he gets the props. Maybe Devin has these things, but we're not seeing it in the fights. Shakur says he has these things, and he showed it when Shakur Stevenson fought bigger guys like like Oscar Valdez. Or smaller guys, I should say. When he fought smaller guys like Oscar Valdez, yeah, it's all well and good to fight in the pocket against guys can't hurt you. But when you fight someone who could really, really hurt you, like when Floyd fought Shane Mosley, when Floyd fought Zab Judah, these guys could really, really hurt him. And in some cases, they did really hurt him. And guess what? Floyd had that dog. Floyd had that ability, that innate ability to fight in the pocket, to swim without getting wet. These guys don't have it. These guys have not shown it. So yes, I can't believe it. I actually can't believe hell is frozen over. I agree with you. So far at this moment in time, he has shown more overall skills than Devin Haney. So we'll see how it goes. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Let me see. Did I have anything else about Ryan or Devin? You know what? Hold on. I want to expound more upon my thing about guys not fighting in the pocket, because I saw a tweet, and make sure you guys go subscribe to my guy Ring IQ Boxing Talk. He's been on the YouTube boxing community for a long time. I don't watch his channel or many channels like that anymore, but I respect his work, and he's been on the grind for a long time. So anybody who puts that work in, even if I'm not going to agree with everything they say, if I've seen you here for years, I respect you because I know how hard it is to build a YouTube channel. But here's what Ring IQ said, and I definitely share these sentiments. He stated the following, and I quote, "No more pure boxers for me. Boxer, punchers, and pressure fighters from here on out. Fancy foot, finesse fighters stay on the outside for a reason. It's consistent, and that's what yesterday proved. The cerebral era, it's over. It's concussion time." And my preference has always been boxer, punchers, and pressure fighters. That's a personal preference. But yeah, we see it way too often. Guys like Devin, guys like Shakur, when they meet a puncher or they meet someone that's a boxer puncher, they either lose or they have really horrible performances. So I'm to that point where it's like, just give me the boxer punchers and pressure fighters, because a lot of the guys that are technical fighters, they don't know how to swim without getting wet. They don't know none of that. They don't know how to do. They don't know how to operate and fight in the pocket. So it is what it is, man. I want to see a lot of these guys, because like these guys like Devin and Shakur and all these guys are very talented. These guys didn't become big names on accident. They've accomplished things in the amateurs, and they bring certain attributes to the sport. And I want to see them get every last bit of the talent they could possibly get out of the talent, But I'm just tired of it. Maybe this will be a wake up call to a lot of the younger fighters that, hey, I can't just be a slick outside fighter. You know, that's all well and good against a certain level of opposition, but there's gonna come an opponent where I'm gonna have to get in the pocket and swim without getting wet. And can you swim without getting wet? Can you do what the great fighters of yesteryear, like James Toney, like Ezra Charles, like Michael, like all those fighters, you know, Marlon Starling? Can you be like them? Put your own spin on it. We will see. But shout out to everybody here. I pretty much ran through almost everything. I got one last point about Devin and whatnot and Ryan, and then we'll just freestyle it from there on out. But let me see. One last thing, and I wanted to touch on this. This is the last thing I want to touch on, because we all know Gervonta Davis has he has a big fan base, and Gervonta Davis should have a big fan base, because Gervonta Davis is one of the most exciting fighters, one of the most talented fighters, and definitely one of the most skilled fighters in the sport of boxing. No doubt about it. One of the most complete fighters there is. However, I saw Gervonta celebrating when Devin Haney lost, like he won the fight. And I saw his fans celebrating the Ryan Garcia victory over Devin Haney like Gervonta won the fight. And the reality is this: Gervonta Davis did not defeat Devin Haney on April 20th. All right? And no matter what you think, no matter what anybody thinks, it is not a foregone conclusion that Gervonta Davis will beat Devin Haney. Straight up. You can't fault the guy that's out here, you know, making fights happen, loses. If you fight enough top opponents at once, eventually you're bound to lose, you know? Now, would Tank probably crack Devin Haney and knock him out? I'd probably say, yeah, I'd probably bet against it, because I feel like Tank's got enough boxing skills to offset the reach Devin Haney, and he's got more gears, right? But it's still a different type of style matchup, right? Gervonta Davis is a shorter, compact fighter. Devin is longer and rangier. That's a fight where Devin could beat Tank. You know, now obviously we know that if they were to fight, Tank would probably put in some sort of rehydration club, because look, Devin ain't gonna come in against he ain't gonna pull no Regis program on Tank. Leonard Ellerby and Mayweather Promotions and PBC and Al Heyman and everybody involved with his career, they would never let Devin Haney come in 25 pounds above what he weighed in at. Never, you know. So there were more than likely be stipulations, but again, it goes without saying, just because Ryan beat Devin doesn't mean Tank will beat Devin. And the only way Tank will get any respect in regards to Devin Haney is by fighting Devin Haney. You don't get respect because the guy you beat the guy you don't like. That's not how this works. That's like Canelo Alvarez doesn't deserve any respect for David Benavidez beating Demetrius Andrade. David Benavidez beat Demetrius Andrade. Not Canelo. So David Benavidez gets the credit. And it's the same sort of principle here with Tank and Devin. So listen, if PBC and all parties involved are willing to make the fight, I would like to see Devin versus Tank. Why not? It would give Devin a chance to prove his greatness to the world and take the O of a great fighter in Tank. And it would give Tank a chance to get another scalp on his resume. He already cracked Ryan Garcia and beat him. Even though I feel like, you know, if they would have not fought with a rehydration clause, it's a way different fight. But again, they have teams for a reason. They put that clause in for that reason, to give him an advantage to win. So it's part of boxing. It's part of the art of war. But it will give him a chance to get that scalp on his resume, and it'll be a big event, and it'll be good for boxing, and it'll be good for everybody. It'll be good for everybody's pockets, and yeah. So that's really what I'm feeling, guys. That's what your boy BT, True School Sports, and the untouchable True School Sports Empire. That's how I'm feeling about Ryan and Devin. Very big fight for boxing. Ryan Garcia has really put himself in a great position to become boxing's next crossover star, and he's really moving the needle like nobody since probably Floyd Mayweather from a popularity standpoint, you know. But anyway, let me go ahead and read you guys' comments, because we got a lot of great comments in here from a lot of intelligent boxing fans. User wants to know, where is the Virgil Ortiz versus Tim Tszyu video? Man, I made a Virgil Ortiz Tim Tszyu video like in January, so I already have one, but I'll make one soon. I'm going live. We'll talk about it tonight, because I'm gonna do a whole live about this whole Saudi card, the Saudi super card with Crawford and all that. I'll talk more about it later on tonight. Nah, he does. You know, he really, really does. Raymond Ford is, as I've come to find out, you know, very good. How come you liked Billy Joe Saunders? I'm surprised as a UK fan. When Billy Joe Saunders was at 160, he was a very good fighter. Billy Joe, again, doesn't have the natural talent, so to speak, of a guy like Devin Haney, but he could swim without getting wet. He could get in the pot. There were fights where I watched Billy Joe Saunders fight David Lemieux. I saw him get in the pocket and swim without getting wet. You know, fight in the pocket at times. A lot of the American fighters, believe it or not, can learn a thing or two from the not the Billy Joe that fought Canelo, not the Billy Joe at 168, the Billy Joe at 160, the one that fought Lemieux, the one that fought Andy Lee. That Billy Joe Saunders, very, very good fighter. I like his defensive skills. If Chocolatito does become a 5-division champion, where would you rank him on the pound-for-pound list? He's definitely going right back into the top 10 easily, because at that point, I'll tell you right now, because I hear this whole thing. I hear this this blanket statement that people like to use to try to talk about Canelo, and they say, Canelo has the best resume in boxing. I'm gonna tell you this: Canelo has a very good resume, but he ain't no 5-division champion. Like when you start talking about being a 5-division world champion, that's like you are now in rarefied air. Like you're with Leonard, you're with Hearns, you're with Mayweather, Pacquiao, De La Hoya, the best of the best of the best of the best. So he would definitely have to go in the top 10. I don't know yet. It all depends on what the landscape looks like and who's doing what, but he'd have to on GP, just on general principle. Chocolatito would have to re-enter the pound list because nobody's doing that. Nobody, in fact, no fighter has done that in boxing since Mayweather Pacquiao. Nobody since Mayweather Pacquiao has become a 5-division champion. Nobody in the post Mayweather Pacquiao era has become a 5-division champion. In a way, may do it. Crawford may do it, but nobody's done it as of right now. So he's definitely top 10 if he does that. Devin didn't fight in the pocket against Ryan. Devin could have easily fought more considered fight against Ryan. He stood in the fire and but he stood in the fire and held. He wasn't standing in the fire and making him miss and making him pay, parrying. He wasn't doing that. He was in the pocket holding. That's trying to smother, but he wasn't in there trying to, maneuver, block, slip, parry. He don't have them. He don't have that class of skills. Devin Haney is a world-class mid-range outside fighter. He don't got them inside in the pocket skills like that. So that's my assessment. But yeah, he could have been more conservative, but I just feel like when he got in the trenches, he just didn't have the tools to deal with what Ryan was bringing to the table that night. It seems like Boots is going to be left out though if he doesn't get one of the guys moving up. Maybe, potentially. Does Ryan beat Tank at I don't know. That's a good fight. I always thought my dumb ass picked Ryan when they fought just because I believed in Ryan. I know how good Ryan Garcia really is. Like Ryan Garcia is one of the most talented fighters I've ever seen in the gym. And I remember when I watched him train for Tego. I went to the media workout when he trained for Tego. And just his level of his reflexes, his speed, it's these are intangible talents. He has that shit you can't teach. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if they fought with no rehydration clause, I wouldn't rule it out because he looked slow and a little sluggish that night. And obviously if he would hit Tank's a naturally smaller guy. So of course it would be a very, very difficult fight for Tank if they fought with no rehydration clause. But that's never gonna happen. And I think just by us even talking about it, we're wishing upon a star. My guy said Ryan should fight Spence. The car crash, the butt fight, he ain't the same now. Ryan having Spence as trainer, I believe all those factors you know what? And I'm glad you brought it up because I forgot to even bring that up myself. So thank you. That's an amazing fight. That's a very winnable fight. Errol Spence doesn't have Derek James in his corner anymore, which I think is dumb. I think it's incredibly stupid, honestly. I don't like the fact that him and Derek James split, and I think it has more to do with Earl than it does Derek. That's just my opinion. But that would be a really interesting fight because if there was a guy on this earth that would know how to beat Errol Spence, it would definitely be Derek James. He built him from the ground up. Yeah, I'll love that fight because we know what Earl brings to the table. Earl's gonna be in that high guard. He's gonna throw that volume jab. He's gonna try to get on the inside and plant to the body of Ryan. But I think again, if they would make that fight happen, Derek James gonna come with an amazing game plan. I think that'd be a horrible. I actually think that'd be a very, very tough fight for Earl. Why not? Make that shit. You know what? Make that happen. Forget Boots. Ryan versus Earl. That's the fight we need. That's the fight we need in the 147 division. That's the real fight we need at 147. That's a great fight. New Ryan's F the world attitude is what he needed. No more weak mind, sensitive take. No, absolutely not. And that's how you got to be in life. That's what I learned. That's what I learned even just with YouTube. I had that F the world attitude for 90 days, and I went live for 90 days, and I took a week off, and I got soft for like a week, But we're back to it. So, yeah, I mean, I hope that he continues to develop. I hope Derek James continues to get the best out of him in the gym. Because Ryan Garcia, I think, could even be better that night, which is kind of scary. Is Earl fighting at 147 anymore? No, he's not. But Ryan's already stated that he would go up to 154 to fight Sebastian Fundora. So my thing is this: if you're willing to go up to fight Sebastian Fundora, why wouldn't you be willing to go up to fight Errol Spence Jr.? That's a big money fight. That's a fight that's, I believe, is winnable. Why not? Let me see. I still don't like that Ryan does completely that thing Ryan does where against a guy who could probably punch a lot harder or is more physically strong, that'll probably play against him because like Earl, we know Earl's a great body puncher. So you imagine doing that shit to Earl Spence. Earl will start digging them shots down below, and Ryan, I guarantee you Ryan won't keep doing that. Or like even like we've seen what happened with Tank. So I just think for Devin he can get away with it because whatever Devin was hitting him with wasn't getting his respect. So, it is what it is. Different things work against different opponents. What worked against Devin Haney won't work against Earl Spencer or even somebody else. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Definitely super chat and definitely make your plans for later on tonight. I'll be live around like 10 o'clock tonight. I'm going to say 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the Crawford card. But right now, we got like I'm an hour and 12 minutes deep. So we'll go like, I'll make it an even 90 minutes. We'll go 17 more minutes. So get your questions in. Ask me anything you want, and I will do my best to answer. Shout out to my guy, Luka Petrovic. He says, what do you think about Hrgovic versus Dubois? Who wins and how? Very good fight. I'm a big fan of both fighters. Philip Hrgovic is my favorite heavyweight in the top 15 in the world, really. I think Dubois is obviously very dangerous. Hrgovic has to be careful to not get clipped because we know Dubois has the kind of punch power that can put anybody out. It's the heavyweight division. There's always that one punch factor. But I think Dubois has always been a bit of a front runner. He's shown us to be a bit of a front runner in his career against the likes of like Usyk and Joyce. And to be honest with you, I really do think Philip Hrgovic is going to deliver one of the most vicious beatings of the year. Daniel Dubois is not like, he may think he's ready for this kind of fight. I don't think he's ready for the kind of fight he's going to deliver because Usyk, I think, had some mental lapses in their fight. Joe Joyce, he's very hittable and relies on his chin too much. Hrgovic is not going to have mental lapses, and he's not as hittable as Joe Joyce. And Hrgovic has something to prove. He's a more pissed off fighter than anything he's ever fought. So I think, first 3 rounds or so, it might be a bit of a cagey affair. You may see Hrgovic throwing a lot of jabs to the stomach and maybe Dubois lands some nice power jabs up top. But I think once we get into like rounds 4 through 6, you're going to see a gap in class, in conditioning. And I think Hrgovic gets him out of there around the 8th round. That's how I think. But it's a very good fight. I like it. Very, very excited for it. Y'all are calling it the Cali Shell. Yeah, the Ryan Garcia. The Cali Shell. He turned his back like this. Yes, sir. Is Ryan versus Terrence a possibility, BT? If so, does Ryan have a chance? I think Terrence beat the hell out of Ryan Garcia, but I would never say never. Ryan Garcia brings so much money to the table. I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen next because Terrence is at 54. But I would never rule it out. I think there is a pathway to make that fight down the road if Ryan continues to move up in weight and win and look good and things like that. So we'll see how it goes. Make sure y'all smash that like button and let me know what city, what state, what continent you guys are watching from. If you're at work, hope you're having a good day at work. If you're just chilling, hope your day's off to a flying start. I know mine is off to a flying start. Gonna go to the gym and work out after this is done. But while I'm here for 15 minutes, get your questions in and let me know where you're watching from. Bud would destroy. I think so. Dr. Spackle, what's good, champ? Yeah, I see you. I seen your other comment. How are you? We got Pluto. Lorain, Ohio. Shout out to Ohio in the building. Shout out to all the fighters from Ohio, the Mason brothers. I know tomorrow we got that card on the zone. Yoenis Telis versus what's that guy's name? Jackson. The guy's name is Jackson. So I'm probably gonna go live for that tomorrow. So you guys will get some lives and you get a lot of videos. So we'll be live for that tomorrow. And also I'm gonna go live for Jose Ramirez versus Francis Bartholomew. Wish me luck on that one. Hopefully it's a good fight. PYP says your channel was great. I started one because I saw you covering live fights. Now I'm at really. Well, I respect. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool to hear that I influenced someone to even start a channel. That shit trips me out because there's so many channels on YouTube. So anytime I hear anybody say like, oh, you're my favorite channel or you influenced me, like that's crazy to me. And I'm humbled by it. So thank you. Hopefully I'll check PYP Boxing. I'll check your channel out. Keep up the good work. We got Zagreb, Croatia in the building. Shout out to Zagreb, Croatia, the home of Filip Hrgović. Indianapolis is in the building, the home of Frank Martin. Tyrese Blue says Ryan versus Tio at 144. It's crazy. They got to fight because really and truthfully, they were supposed to fight in February. They were supposed to fight. Many people forget that before Jermaine Ortiz was even a thing. Ryan versus Tio was the fight to make. That was the fight that Top Rank was going to make. And the fight didn't happen because they couldn't agree upon money. And there's all kinds of stories I've heard, from media and even from Tio, Fima Lopez's team themselves. I've spoken to them. But no matter what happened in the past, they got to fight because that's a big fight for the sport. I'm going on a Hrgović KO rounds 5 through 7. I can't wait for that fight and your interview with him. Oh, I can't wait either, man. Who knows, man? Maybe I might be in Saudi. Like I said, I don't know where this boxing journey takes me. That's why when people start asking me about stuff in August, I'm not even sure what I'm doing in June. Not even sure what the hell I'm doing in June or May. My thoughts on Ryan versus Ben. Ryan versus Conor Ben is actually a very interesting fight. Eddie Hearn knows deep down, whether he wants to say it or not. Eddie Hearn knows that the end is near for Conor Ben. Like Conor Ben is gonna have to fight somebody like really good soon, and Conor Ben needs to get cashed out. He needs to get maximum return on his investment because he couldn't make the Eubank fight, and it looks like he's not gonna make the Eubank fight. And I don't think he wants to go ahead and make the Jaron Ennis fight right away. Maybe he will, but Ennis is fighting Cody Crowley. So Ryan versus Conor Ben might be the fight in which not just Eddie, but also Oscar, they can get maximum return on investment and for both their fighters. And for Oscar, from the Oscar side of things, that's a fight where you would Ryan would be a favorite. And so then the question would be, how does Ryan Garcia perform when he's the favorite? Because it's one thing to perform as the underdog. A lot of fighters in boxing can actually perform better when the underdog, but they can't handle the expectations of being the favorite. So it's crazy. It's crazy how things work. But I like that fight. If they can't make Spence or Ennis, then go ahead, make that fight happen. Oh, okay, you at that card. Okay, you out down there in Corpus Christi. Shout out to Corpus Christi. Good. Keep up the good work. I'll check your channel out. Can you rank the 4 kings? Well, before I do that, let's not call them that because there's only 4. There's only one set of 4 kings. That's Duran, Leonard, Hagler, and Hearns. Those are the 4 kings. These are just 4 young guns. We'll call them that. The 4 young guns. Tank, Ryan, Devin, and Teofimo. It's tough. I would say right now, number 1. Well, and Shakur. And Shakur. To me, there's no definitive number 1. I'm gonna tell you why there's no definitive number 1, because I want to say Teo, because if we're talking about in terms of who's beating the best fighters, Teofimo Lopez has beaten the best fighters. He has a win over Josh Taylor and Vasily Lomachenko. But in between all that, Teofimo has shown ridiculous inconsistency and lost to George Kambosos Jr., who really shouldn't have beaten him. So I can't put him number 1. And I can't put Devin number 1 because Devin just got beat up by Ryan. And I can't put Ryan number 1 because Ryan got beat up by Tank. And I can't put Tank number 1 because Tank been beating up on smaller guys. So I'm not putting nobody number 1. We're like a year away. We're like a year and a half away from even finding that out. But if you're in terms of skills and ability, like natural talent, I'll do this. In terms of natural talent, I'll give you who the best are. Natural talent, I think the most talented of the bunch is actually Gervonta Davis. I think the second most talented is, believe it or not, Ryan Garcia. The third most talented is Shakur Stevenson. The fourth most talented is Teofimo, and the least talented of the bunch is Devin Haney. Devin Haney is the most disciplined of the bunch, and that's why it may seem like he's more talented, but he's not the most talented. He's actually the least talented of the bunch. Because and Teofimo is not higher because Teofimo Lopez is way too reliant upon his athleticism and his explosiveness. So whenever he fights fighters that can move a little bit and box from the outside, he doesn't have the tools to cut the ring off, and that's why he doesn't look good against like Sandor Martin or Jermaine Ortiz. So that's why he's not higher. And then Shakur Stevenson ain't higher because, Shakur Stevenson, anytime he fights a puncher, he don't know how to swim. He don't know how to swim without getting wet. Ryan, I think, and everyone you named, Shakur, Teofimo, Devin, Tank, Ryan, I've seen them all either train or spar in person. So I've gotten like that up close and person look. That's just off what I've seen. That's the order I'll go with. I think Tank is the most talented. I think Ryan is the second most talented. I think Shakur will be third. Teofimo be 4. Devin is 5. They're all talented. I don't want to put nobody down. I think they're all very talented in their own right. For sure, if BT listening for a few years now, still my favorite. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Robert. I gotta go to Austin, man, because I had to go back to Texas. I haven't been to Texas in 2 years, so I have to go back to Texas. Texas is like one of my homes away from home, and I haven't been in a while. They want to know, so if Hrgovic wins, are you coming to Croatia to celebrate it? That's a great question. I wish he wasn't fighting in June, man, because June is when the Stanley Cup Final is going to be. The Florida Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup this year, no doubt about it in my mind. So I'm going to be celebrating that. But at some point, yes, maybe I'll have to come out there. Shout out to Ramon. Yeah, I got to watch that card. I heard it was good. Ryan is a social media diva and attention, where Devin is a young, dedicated boxer. I hope Cruz whoops Ryan. I mean, Ryan has a lot of things, man, but Ryan is also one of the most naturally gifted fighters I've ever seen in my life, in person. I've seen a lot of fighters. I've been as far as the UK, as far east as Japan. I've been in gyms in like every crevice of this world. Ryan Garcia is one of the most talented fighters. People can say what they want. He's a diva. He looks like a pop star. That boy is one of the most talented fighters, and he showed it on Saturday. He showed it. He finally put it together, and he showed it. So. And you know what's crazy? Ryan Garcia kind of reminds me, hearing about his preparation for this fight with Devin, it reminds me of talking to Stacey McKinley about fighters and their vices and how they deal with them. Like Ricardo Mayorga had to drink beer every Saturday during camp, otherwise he couldn't function properly. Frankie Randall, he was in the MGM Grand gambling the night before he beat Chavez. So there are fighters that have vices, but they can make their vices work for them. They have a dark side, and they make that dark side work for them. Ryan likes to drink. Ryan likes to gamble. Ryan likes women. Could most fighters do what he does in camp and be successful? Absolutely not. But Ryan Garcia did it. I wouldn't advise it to keep doing it, but again, he had enough focus in the gym and listened to Derrick James enough to get his desired result. And as I always said in boxing is a results-based business. Straight up, nobody cares about the preparation because guess what? Nobody sees the preparation. When a fan buys a ticket, they're not paying for how many rounds you sparred in the gym and how good your weight cut was. They're paying for what you do on fight night. So you got to produce when the lights come on. You got to be an under the lights fighter. He says, come to Texas, bro. Anything you need here. We cover all the events in Texas. If you need, okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I like Texas. I ain't been to Texas in a hot little minute, so it's getting to that time. Ryan, T.O., Tank. Could any of the young guns win any fights against the 4 OG Kings? That's a good question. That's a hell of a question, actually. I think Ryan, I mean, it's going to sound crazy, but I think Ryan Garcia versus Tommy. I mean, how tall is Ryan? Ryan's not 6 feet. There's no way Ryan's that damn big. How tall is Ryan? Ryan's like, what, 5? Ryan's not that big. Ryan's 5'9". Right? We know Tommy Hearns is like 6'3", but I'll say this. I feel like Ryan versus Tommy Hearns, if Ryan, anyone in that kind of a fight, any one of them could go. As crazy as it sounds, because Tommy Hearns is so highly regarded, but we know Tommy Hearns didn't have the greatest chin, and Ryan can really punch. So I would think that'd be a good chance. I don't know, man. The fantasy fights are hard, man, because a lot of times people romanticize the past. They can exaggerate. Even if a fighter was great, people like to exaggerate fighters' abilities and how good they really were. So when you start saying a guy that's still fighting can be the guy that's like already in the Hall of Fame, it's like it never really goes over well. So I hate to get into it, but that'd be an interesting one. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't want to get into it. It's not gonna work. But I do think Ryan versus Tommy Hearns would have been an interesting. Out of all those you named, Ryan versus Tommy Hearns, just because of the fact that I think both of them are a little chinny. Tommy Hearns probably annihilate Ryan in like a couple rounds. Conventional wasn't telling you Ryan that's what happened, but Ryan can really punch, so I would never rule it out. That's true. Clarissa is making a great point. These guys these days, they fight every once a year and a half. Guys back then were sharp. I mean, they're fighting 5 times a year, 4 times a year. So they're that's a whole different level of just being sharp. So yeah, that's why it's hard to compare eras. It's hard. That's why like you don't want to compare, Devin Booker to, I don't know. You don't want to compare Devin Booker to Clyde Drexler, or something like. You don't want to start comparing NBA players from right now to guys in the 90s because it's a whole different game. And it's the same thing with boxing. I feel like the climate of boxing now, it's a whole different sport. So how could you compare these guys to the guys of yesteryear? You can't. Shout out to my guy, D-Style Boxing, one of the pioneers of the YouTube boxing community. Shout out to him. He said, "What's good, brother? Just getting back to it, man. I took a week off. I went live for 90 days in a row, and now I'm a little behind, so just trying to make up for lost time. I'll be live again later on. So just getting back to work, trying to stay productive. But God bless you. Hope all is good, man. Make sure you guys go run it up. Go subscribe to D-Style Boxing. I've been here for a little bit of time on YouTube, but he was here even before me. So, definitely I always show respect to the people that were here before me. Okay, for sure. Message me about it so we can iron out a time. The winner of the Morrell might get Bivol versus Beterbiev. What do you think about that, BT? I mean, look, who's Morrell versus Hot Rod? That fight? I think Morrell's fighting Hot Rod. I think Morrell versus anybody is a great fight, but Morrell, he's got a great blend of youth, size, reach, speed, power. I would love to see it. Personally, I think him and Beterbiev would be a great fight. It'd be amazing. But I just feel like it'd be crazy to see him have to use that athletic ability against somebody who has that that thudding power, the educated pressure of a guy like Beterbiev. So, yeah, but Morel versus anybody's good. Like, there are certain fighters. Like, I don't care if we're talking about Morel or Beterbiev or Benavidez. There's certain fighters. It don't really matter who they fight. You just know it's going to be a good fight. You know you're going to get your money's worth. He's one of them guys, David says, no, I think Pitbull would stand a chance against Ryan. Hopefully that fight. Pitbull is very good. I wasn't always the biggest on Pitbull at first because, sometimes this is why you got to be diligent when you look at fighters. But like one thing I really learned about Pitbull the last couple of years watching him fight is he takes what would be considered to be a disadvantage, being a shorter fighter, and he turns it to a crazy advantage for him. Like, he fights in a very educated high guard, very hard to break the defense. And on top of that, Pitbull is very good about tucking his chin. So he's already short as it is, and now his chin's tucked and his defense is like very hard to penetrate. For that reason alone, hard guy to beat, And his punches come down the middle. Punches come from a very educated place, precise place. So that makes people very hard to beat. Shout out to my guy Wayne Witherspoon. He says Philadelphia is in the building. What's up, my beloved? Shout out to you, Wayne. Hope all is well. God bless. Shout out to Philadelphia. I know you guys at the Boots fight coming back to your hometown. I think they're saying July. So good to see Philadelphia getting the big time fights coming back, and hopefully this could be a recurring thing in boxing. BT, Joel Diaz beat Canelo. If he wins over Crawford, is he the trainer of the year? Does he finally get the credit? When did he beat Canelo? Joel Diaz when he fought Bivol? Nah, man. I mean, if Madrimov beats, I'll give you my opinion. I don't think Joel Diaz should be considered for trainer of the year at all, honestly. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Joel Diaz wasn't even in the corner for Otabek Komatov when he fought Raymond Ford. So Otabek Komatov, when he fought Raymond Ford, didn't even have a trainer, damn near won, which to me, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth because Otabek left his trainer, who he should have stayed with, in my opinion, Timur Ibragimov. And I thought even though he was good against Ford, he wasn't the Otabek that I saw in the gym. He wasn't the boxer puncher Otabek. He was just a boxer against Raymond Ford. And guess what? The boxer Otabek was almost good enough to be Raymond Ford without a trainer. So just for him not being professional and showing up for Otabek, I'm disqualifying him because he stayed in the Middle East. I guess he had to train Madrimov and he missed his flight or something like that. So Otabek only had his brother Antonio Diaz, but nah, man, I don't like that. So I'm sure he will get consideration for trainer of the year, but I wouldn't give it to him. I would look at, right now, a couple guys that I'm looking at for trainer of the year, like Derek James. Who else is there? What are the big fights happening in boxing this year so far? Like my mind is shot out. I would say Derek James is the front runner. I mean, dark horse candidate I would say is Miguel Leo, Angelo Leo's father, who's got his son 3 wins in 5 months. Nobody's doing that in the boxing right now, and sounds like they may have a big fight coming up. So we'll see if they get the world title fight. But I make him a dark horse candidate. There's a lot of good coaches in boxing. Who else is there? I mean, I'm sure if Inoue keeps getting knockouts and looking impressive, at some point Shingo Inoue will have to get consideration. I mean, there's a lot of great trainers. Robert Garcia will probably get consideration if Bam beats Agallo. So it never ends, Eddie Beno. Oscar Valdez is back. Look, Oscar Valdez is back. He's got a big win over Liam Wilson. If Canelo beats Munguia, I'm sure he'll get consideration. So there's definitely a lot of good trainers. My man here says that Haney should go back to Mayweather Sr. as the main trainer and go back to his Philly show style. What do you think? No. I want Devin to get with a trainer that has him punching through the target and will teach him like how to fight on the inside. So like someone who comes from like the Kronk Gym lineage would be like perfect. So like I'm thinking like Sugar Hill Stewart or Stacey McKinley. Those are the kind of guys that he needs to get with, old school trainers, guys that that help make their fighters punch to the target, that know about their guys fighting on the inside. Those are the kind of chairs I feel he should be with, but that's just me. Ronnie Shields even will be a good shout. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like shout out to Joel Diaz, but he's got such a big stable for him to not be in the corner. And I didn't even talk about this when it happened because I didn't want to talk about it because I wanted to give Raymond Ford his just doing his credit. But I feel like it's a bad look to not be in the corner for one of your fighters, one of your best fighters in a world championship fight. It's like, come on, man. BT, did you see Pro Box TV last night? Joel Diaz kept belittling Ramon Cardenas, saying, "You better show me something because I don't know about your future." No, I didn't watch it. I'm gonna watch that card probably tonight. Because I know Max Ornelas, a fighter that I'm a big fan of. You know, Max Ornelas, he used to spar Angelo Leo all the time. So I learned about Max in like 2021. So I've been a big fan of Max because I used to always watch him spar Angelo in 2021 and 2022, and he used to be some really good work. And that was the main reason I wanted to watch that card. But I'll check it out. I'll check out what he had to say to Ramon Cardenas. BT, can we now say Jay Panda is the best coach in Mexico? I mean, he's got a hell of a stable. I mean, he's got Subdiam. Look, another one. He's going to be another guy. You know, William Zepeda and Subir Matias and the stable he's got. He'll be another guy that gets, you know, massive consideration. So I mean, there's a lot of good coaches in the sport. There's a lot of guys doing their thing, and we'll have to wait and see how things play out. But look, guys, on that note, it's been nothing short of a pleasure. It feels so good to be back. It felt like, in my brain, it felt like a year that I wasn't even live. I can't take time off because then I can't function properly. Boxing is my life. Making these videos is a big part of me. So we'll be live again later on tonight. I have to go to the gym now and work out and be professional and work on my body so I can have a sound body, sound mind. But listen, you guys take care. Continue to support all the content on True School Sports. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Right, we're creeping up on 74,000, but ultimately I want that 100K. So I'll be live again later on tonight. So if you didn't see, if you're watching a playback, you didn't see this one, we'll have one later on, and that'll just be strictly about the Terrence Crawford card, and Turkey Al-Ashi coming to America, and my dad should be around, so we should have Pops on the live as well. So it'll be even crazier live. It'll be even more hype live than usual. So that'll be tonight's live. Tomorrow night will be live for the Yoenis Telis fight on DAZN. Saturday night will be live for Jose Ramirez. So make your plans to come out and join the lives with us and support the channel. And yeah, like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.